Two, three, four things that I would like to highlight as part of my opening remarks. The first is, and some of it may be repetitive for some of us, but I still do believe that it's important to keep reiterating this point again and again, that when we talk of accessibility, it's not limited only to ramps and disabled-friendly toilets. That accessibility is for all people with disabilities, and which includes obviously people with visual disabilities, but also people with hearing disabilities and all the other disabilities, including autism, cerebral palsy, multiple disabilities. Now, one extreme example that one can give, and with people like David here, perhaps there are even more amazing examples, but then the one that I am aware of and absolutely fascinated with is the technology that Stephen Hawking uses. I mean, somebody as extremely or severely disabled as him, who has barely, I'm told, a cheek muscle left, which works, and with that one tiny cheek muscle, for the person to be operating an entire system, for him to be able to communicate, for him to be able to talk, is an amazing example of what technology can do for us. In everyday life, since in my own life I don't have as much interface with assistive technology, but every day when I learn new things from friends, I'm fascinated. Amar Jain, whom many of us know, brilliant blind lawyer, was telling us just the other day of something called Lechel, which is, I'm still trying to understand it, but it's something to do with a sole, a haptic shoe, which then guides a visually impaired person as to where to go or not go, or guides with directions. So there is all this fascinating technology. In India, the challenges are availability and affordability. And also awareness, which is linked to availability. For an average person, and I may be wrong, Shilpi would be correcting some of what I'm saying if it's wrong. Like, for example, when one goes to the Western world, when one goes to, say, Europe or US, and you go to a store or you just pick up a book, and the pages and pages full of assistive technology and where to get it from and at what cost, directories. Very easily, the knowledge is available, the awareness is there. I think an average person, except for the few people who are privileged or who are at a certain strata, an average person would not even know as to what is there in the market. I mean, think of I'm not talking of rural India. I'm saying that even an average person in Aligarh or Meerut or even a Lucknow or a Bhubaneswar. So awareness is a huge issue, and which is very unfortunate, which is the knowledge gap, that if millions and millions of disabled people are not even aware that there is something practically next door or at the tip of the finger, and they're not even aware. Then the whole issue of availability, that are many of these assistive technologies available in India. I mean, a lot of it is being brought to India by organizations like Barrier Break, but are they available, easily available? And the most important being affordability. That because very less of it is developed in India, manufactured in India, most of it is imported. Therefore, it's extremely expensive. And once again, it then goes back to the same vicious circle, where millions of disabled people, average middle class, lower middle class disabled people, are just simply not able to afford it. So even if they become aware, even if They know that there is something out there in the market, it's just way beyond their reach. And then we contrast this rather peculiar, unfortunate situation to the modern 21st century India. And then we hear the word smart, and then we hear the word digital. It all becomes very confusing. So there is a huge gap, and that gap was illustrated even in the 90s when India embarked on the IT journey, and non-IT people or non-technology people like me read that we are now on the information highway, that we are chugging along, and then hundreds and thousands of websites got created, information became available on the fingertips. And then fast forward more than a decade, and it's almost like being woken up from the sleep and like a bad nightmare when Shilpi and I met for the first time, and where she says, well, none of these websites are accessible to people with visual impairment and other disabilities, but let's stick to visual impairment. Awareness was there. I mean, there is something called the World Wide Web, there is the World Wide Web Consortium, there is the WCAG guidelines. The world moved from WCAG 1.0 to 2.0, and India was caught sleeping. And as a result, today, even as we speak, which is unforgivable, even as we speak, almost none of the websites are accessible to people with visual impairments. So, non-disabled people and even disabled people like me who are wheelchair users or can access the website, and I can book my airline ticket or my rail ticket, or I can file my application for the passport or my income tax return, or as something as simple as buying a ticket for the movies this evening. And the same convenience, not even luxury, or the right is not available to. How do we justify that? And then we say, well, it's lack of awareness, lack of sensitivity, we try to be soft. It's discrimination. It would be unthinkable in any civilized society. I mean, if this violation was to happen in US or any of the European countries or any of the Nordic countries, people would be taken to the cleaners. But then in India we don't have accountability, in spite of having a 95 law, in spite of having an Office of the Chief Commissioner, in spite of having a ministry and a department. Where is the accountability? Then we come to the present era, and we have a series of new Indias being launched, from Make My India to Digital India to Skill India, and then Accessible India campaign. Is there any connectivity? So maybe an hour from now, when the Honorable Secretary finally arrives, and Mr. Mukesh Jain, who is at the front of the Accessible India campaign movement, perhaps it may be a good question to ask. Because I again then come back to that point, and that's where I will stop, at least for the time being, also looking at my watch, that I hope to God that Accessible India campaign does not get restricted to ramps and toilets. And that's my biggest fear right now. Because all that we have heard in the last so many months is about identification of buildings and empanelment of auditors and the audits that are about to take place, and then ramps and toilets. Of course, on paper, if you look at the Accessible India campaign, it does talk about accessibility in the IT arena, but I don't know if we have had the time to do a critical analysis of that, whether it's only restricted to websites and whether making 50% of the websites is good enough, or is the ball game much bigger than that, and something is not being said, something is not being highlighted. The biggest being, and let this tech share be dedicated to that, at least from my side, since I'm partner and mischief maker in chief, to say that, no, seriously, I mean, you have Digital India. Isn't it a fair and honest question to ask the concerned ministry and ministries that does it include the 70 million disabled citizens? And what would Digital India do for its disabled citizens? What would the Smart India do for its disabled citizens? And is there a connectivity between the Smart India, the Digital India, and the Accessible India? I leave it at that. Thank you.